Hello, it's the Saturday Softpot Club. You know, I really wish that I could be like Eleanor Rigby and it was socially acceptable to wear a face that you know, a mask that you keep in a jar by the door. Because every day it's so hard to pull myself together. But it's Saturday again, and it's the 10th of March, and welcome to the Saturday Softpot Club. Yes. It's been a really exciting oh, hello, Barbara. Ah, hello. Thank you for joining me. I really loved your post this morning. Yes, those little butterfly eggs. Oh, they're such a beautiful design. Thank you. Oh, Jill. Hello, Jill. Thank you very much for joining me. And also, before I forget, thank you very much indeed for reading the first part of The Odden, the book that I'm doing at the moment. It was something I wrote 35 years ago, and you read it, and you gave me really excellent critique. Thank you very much indeed. And yes, I was saying, you know, this week we've had snow. Last night it just tipped down. And you know, my motto is, whatever the weather, it's always fine. And you know, it is. And you know the most magical thing is when it's been a really, really good storm and it's rained a lot, all the soft pots, they shine and they're just even more beautiful than ever. Now, I know I did a few talks today for the this week. I did a talk for the Bramhope Ladies Methodist group, and I also did a talk for the Cross Hills and what is it? Cross Hills and Glusburn, WI, and I had a lovely, lovely time. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully you'll be joining me today. Jill, hello. Can you actually see my messy face? No, but I tell you what, I mean, oh goodness me, sometimes this would work just wonderfully. Something like that. Yes. But having said, oh, Claire, oh, hello. You're on your way, coming up here. I'll see you later this afternoon. Ladies, time for tea. I'll be bringing some cakes. Oh, yes. But, as I was saying, some people will be joining me a little bit later. And so, welcome to you too. And yes, when it comes to soft pots, some people joining me will won't know what a soft pot is. Other people know soft pots very well. So I'm sort of do a bit of a mix and a match. And then the idea is I'll show you a few examples and then I'll make a soft pot for you. One way or another, it'll be some sort of soft pot. I've never got any idea what I'm going to do until I actually do it. And so it'll be as much a surprise to me as it is to you. But if you want to join me and you've actually got your soft pot kit and you're ready to make a soft pot, just let me know, and you can press a little button somewhere and you can actually come on the screen as well. And I'd be happy to share my screen with you, and we could have a go at making soft pots together. I mean, all this technology is wonderful, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure that I get the best out of it. I don't think I was born for the age of the computer somehow. But I was born, everybody is born for living plants. And if you love living plants, if you like being creative, then you can't go wrong. You really can't make a soft pot. If the world becomes too harsh and too cruel, and that vortex of depression starts coming in, don't let it in. Make a soft pot. Because soft pots are handmade fabric plant pots. And they're better for the plant, better for the planet, and definitely better for you. It's better than any sort of plastic or terracotta pot. Let me show you. Oh, Jill, do you remember this one? This has been outside through all that snow, and I was just experimenting. I remember I stuck these sort of sticky things in that you can get from the pound shop. I just stuck them on the outside, and it sort of looks like a dialect, doesn't it? But look at that. It's gone through all that snow, all that rain. It's got to be a few months now. And, you know, occasionally some of them fall off and I just stick them back on. But actually, as a form of decoration, just straight on the outside, see? it works really well, and it's actually quite durable. So I thought I'd just share that with you, Jill, because I know that you were really keen on these. Yes, that's a soft pot. Now, all sorts of different sorts of soft pots. This is a soft pot that I made last week, and it's just a little cauldron soft pot. See, bubbling over the top. See its little fat legs. And isn't it beautiful? I mean, you can't do that with a regular plastic or terracotta pot. You don't feel impelled to give it a kiss, do you? I mean, when you make a soft pot, you know, it becomes like, it's like a pet. You can squeeze it, it's got a body, you can feel it. I mean, it's hopeless in a sense, me standing here going blah, 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 talking about soft pots. What you need to do is actually make one yourself. And then you'll know what I'm talking about. Because until you've actually made one, it's impossible to appreciate just how beautiful they are and also how therapeutic. Right, pop that one to one side. Da, 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 da. And, oh, this is one of my favourites. Again, it's been outside, completely sodden in the rain. When I pick it up, see, it's not drippy or soggy. And you see how beautiful that is. That is one extremely happy cyclamen. Now, interestingly enough, that one I made, I did use heavy-duty tights. You make me feel love is real and make me smile every Saturday. One of my most powerful white witches I've ever had the privilege to meet. Oh, bless you, Barbara Hall. I mean, I would not call myself a witch, but I have to admit, it makes it's so much easier to feel loving when you have nurtured yourself. And I find that actually a lot of the time I have a hard time doing that. But when I make a soft pot, it connects me. I mean, it's the magical blending of the earth, the plant, your own creative spirit. And when you've finished, you've made something that is completely bespoke. You'll never make another one like it. And the plant is so much happier. I mean, everything just wants to live on the earth in peace and get on with life comfortably. And if a plant has to be in any sort of pot, I think it ought to be in a soft pot, because in a soft pot, the roots grow normally and you don't get roots spiralling like you do in conventional plastic or terracotta pots. And they can breathe, they can absorb the ground and the rainwater. And they're just much, much happier little beasties. And because you see, they've got fat bottoms, they're fat bottom girls, the soft pots, and they sit on the earth and they've got a really good connection to it and to all the earth's energies. And I think it's really important for them. But there's no doubt in my mind that any plant, no matter what it is, will do better. If it can't be in the ground, put it in a soft pot. And Nell, you wrote in and you asked about that. And yes, any plant, money plants, any sort of plant that you can think of will always do better in a soft pot. Now, just pop that to one side. Yeah, moving on. Actually, now, here. This is Bertha. Now, you'll remember her. She comes on tour with me every year. I must have had her for, 15 years, quite a long time, really. And there we are. I mean, she's quite a nice big pot. See? And that is one very, very happy jade plant. And she was, when she started off, she wasn't anything like this size. She was really tiny. Right, pop that back. Yeah, I mean, lots of plants will go outside during the summer. They don't really like being indoors. If you have to have indoor plants, one of the things that really helps them is if you just run them under the shower. Just give them a quick shower. And that generates a bit of negative charge, because houses are positively charged with all the electricity. And if you've been in it long enough, you actually absorb that positive charge. And then it's really hard to go out. And then when you've been out for a while, you feel so much better and you've absorbed the Earth's negative charge, the negative charge of the Earth. And that's why a lot of the time when you've gone out, you don't really want to go back. It's sort of hard to go back inside. And then, again, once you've absorbed the positive charge of the house again, so the cycle repeats. But inside a house, for plants, as often as not, it's way too dry and it's way too positively charged. So a way to sort of combat that and give them a little break is just stick them in the shower and just rinse them with cold water, and they'll absolutely love it. You know, we all know that we have to water a plant, but sometimes, you know, they're just like us, little bath, little shower, and, you know, thrills them, absolutely thrills them, and keeps them in much better condition. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Moving swiftly on. Oh, this is a nice little job that I made. This is a nice little rosemary. And I should eat a lot more rosemary because my memory's going. Actually, I won't be able to talk, will I, if I'm eating rosemary. But, yes, here we are. There we are. One very, very pretty little rosemary in a soft pot. I don't own up to anything. Barbara, I do not own up to anything. No. What I am changes all the time. Here we are. Look at that. This is a recyclable soft pot. Now, you know, during these sort of sessions, I just show you the simple soft pot, which is the simplest one you can do, and it's also a non-spill soft pot. But these sort of soft pots, I call them classics, and you can reuse them. And you see, they've got a nice, big, thick neckline there, and you can have them really wide. I mean, soft pots, when you think about it, you know, they're totally flexible. So, I mean, you can wrap them around tree trunks. You can hang them in all sorts of strange places. It's just a liberation for the plant, and a liberation for you as well, because there is just so much you can do with the soft pot. You can paint them, you can decorate them, you can leave them plain, and they'll grow their own moss. I mean, they're just beautiful, inside and out. I mean, all soft pots, if they've been outside for a while, they've got a very, very healthy inner life. It's full of microbes, full of worms, they just love it. Yes, and of course, I mean, soft pots, you know, if your plant's over and you don't want to keep the pot, you can just undo it and take all the gubbins out and reuse them. Or you can actually reuse the pot. If the plant wasn't diseased, it's just over, something like this, you know, it won't last forever. I made it into a classic pot, so I can yank all of this out and put something else in. And I have to admit, come the summertime, I can finish up using, you know, reusing my soft pots shamelessly. I'll show you one, actually. I'll show you one. This is one I made when I was a bit lumpy and grumpy and bumpy, and so I made a lumpy, grumpy, bumpy soft pot. And this is it. Can you see? And they're just those balls that you can buy in the. Oh, hello, Karen. How's that? Hello, Will. I hope you're recovering well. Coming off your motorbike in the snow. There we go. See? And those are just those little balls that you can buy, little bunny puff balls. You can get them in the pound shop. All sorts of things you can involve in making soft pots, you know. Feathers, beads, shells, sweet wrappers, milk bottle tops. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. Once you've made 3 or 4, you get what I call soft pot eyes. Everything you look at and you think, oh, can I put that in a soft pot? Can I put a soft pot into it? Can I wrap a soft pot round it? And everything, your whole world changes. It's a new dimension in gardening. And, you know, it makes a different sort of garden. A very, very personal garden. A very personal garden. But yes, soft pots, you know, I mean, they're made out of ladies' tights and stockings. And just like the ladies who wear them, they're soft, strong, supportive, nurturing, flexible, giving. Oh, just beautiful. Look. Oh, hello, Nell. Yes, I was talking about that. Actually, I've just shown my Big Bertha. I don't know whether you saw that. Maybe see the replay. But yes, I just showed Big Bertha, my big jade plant. Any plant is better off in a soft pot now. Definitely. And when it comes to bonsai, I've got the bonsai. You just make an ordinary soft pot with it, and you know, even a simple neckline will work. But I know you've been waiting for my courses for ages. I do apologise now. What I'll do is I'll send you the bit that I have done. I figured out how to get it off the iPad now, but it's not very professional. It's sort of a bit like this, but yes, it's a bit like this. I have notions of, doing these professional things, and I mean, it just never happens. So anyway, yeah, this is my bonsai, and this is 15 years old. So now I'll send you what I've got, that covers the classic neckline as an apology, because I know you've been waiting for this information for a long time. Yeah, there we are. And that's a bogey stone in there. Ta-da! There's only one place in India, apparently, a river, where the stones grow like this. And I've got a little crystal in there too. You see? And this is actually, that's on a fishnet. And it's been there for many, many years. And moss pots, I think, are the best soft pots in many ways, because the moss protects them in the summer and it protects them from inclement weather in the winter. I mean, soft pots are protected anyway. I mean, you know how builders wear tights in winter underneath their trousers. It's the worst kept secret, isn't it? Well, it's just like that for soft pots, though. And they've got material in between. So, I mean, thermally, they're very, very protected against the heat and against the cold. And you'll find, actually, that, in the heat, soft pots don't heat up like plastic or terracotta pots. They just don't do that. And so, again, the plants are much more supported and much more comfortable in their life if you put them into a soft pot. By the way, you can get kits, I mean, there's all sorts of bits you can get together. It can take you ages and ages and ages to get all these bits together. Best thing to do is just order a soft pot kit from me. You've got everything you need to have a really, really good go. There's enough soft pot gold in there to make 15 to 20 soft pots easy. And all the other gubbins, all you'd need is more stockings. That's all you would need. There's a pair of stockings in there, but that's all you would need if you want to make loads and loads and loads. Have a soft pot party. It's really good fun. And, they're perfect for every occasion. I can't think, you can make a soft pot for every season and every occasion, and they're totally, totally bespoke every time. I just pop this back. Oh, here we are. Here's another wide mouth standing pot, and at the back there, see, now as the spring progresses, so that sort of style neckline will just keep on growing. And you can finish up with things that look like an apothecary bottle. Again, the only limit really is your imagination with a soft pot. I've made around 50 now. My home and garden is overflowing, and I adore them all. Oh, Nell, I'm so pleased. Oh, send me some pictures. I'll put them on the website, if that's all right. The website's a bit boring at the moment. I haven't done very much with it. Yes. Anyway, just thought I'd show you. And again, that's a lovely, nice, stretchy neckline, and I can just reuse it all over again. Very handy for bulbs and things, because they only last for so long, don't they? This is a little fella that we made last week. And here I just nicked the stocking, and you get a rather nice sort of polka dot effect. And this one's wearing a bit of jewellery as well. I mean, soft pots wear jewellery, feathers, beads, shells, sweet wrappers, milk bottle tops, bits of wig, all sorts of things. And yeah, these two little cuties. That one I've had ages and ages and ages, many years, and it's one of my favourites. And this one's wearing a nice little bit of jewellery, and I really like that bangle. So sometimes I wear it, and sometimes the plant does. And this one's a bit unusual. This is a bangle as well. And that's a little soft pot. And I think you can just see it's the top there is all sort of nicked, and it sort of reflects in a way the actual plant in there. That's lithops, by the way. They come in all sorts of forms and shapes. but they're just wonderful plants, and especially if you live in an incredibly dry area or you never water your plants, because all they need is a spray once and occasionally, and they're just happy as Larry. They just get on with it. But aren't they beautiful? I find them so interesting. And, yeah, here we are. This one again. This one is an ivy, and I found this bit of old junk here, this clock, in a second-hand shop, and I put the two together, and I've had this now for six years. It started off at Stonegate in the shop in York, and so many of you will probably remember this. It's a bit bigger than it used to be. I popped it into a bigger pot. But yes, very sweet, isn't it? And it's so easy to make. Just beautiful, beautiful things. Just so easily. Right, what else have I got? Is that it? Is that it? I think it is. Right, this time, today, I know I've been talking about, oh, I'm going to do a mushroom, Well, I thought maybe today I'd have a go. I haven't made one for ages and ages. Calanthus. Ah, yes. Yes, Nell, I do bring that one to camp. She comes with me everywhere in the summer, because every summer I go on tour. I mean, one of the wonderful things, you know, about Softpots is they're so portable. If you live in a rented place, or you move a lot, or and you want to grow your own vegetables, but it's all concrete outside, you can do it, you know, with Softpots. Softpots move so easily. They all squash up, and then if they get squished, you just squash them back. And I've grown, you'll see actually, as the season progresses, you know, I can grow carrots on my washing line, I can grow potatoes up my wall. There is nothing that I can't really grow and take with me if I have to leave. And during the summer, I must take a couple of tons of plants and just go out into the middle of nowhere, set up a garden, and away we go. At the moment, the Softpot garden, by the way, I should mention, is at Henshaw's in Knaresborough. It's right opposite Mother Shipton's, and it's just the most wonderful place. It's free to go in, free to walk around. It's full of art makers and people doing really interesting things. It's right by the river, and it's well worth a visit. And the Softpot garden's there. And you can go along and just see, you know, all the different styles and types of Softpots. I mean, it all changes month to month, you know, and as the year progresses. At the moment, it's the winter garden. And I just did a little bit of something, you know, for Valentine's. But, well, soon, equinox. It's coming to equinox. And then what we're going to do, it's like an alarm bell for plants. Everything wakes up and starts growing. So, yes, if you stick with me during the summer months coming, you'll see, again, different styles. So, right, what I'm going to do... Is anybody making one along with me by any chance? Does anyone want to make one with me? No, because coming to see you next week. Think I will be a week away on Monday. Will you be at the garden? If I know you're coming, I will be there. I'll come and meet you. It'd be lovely to see you now. Yes. Oh, good. Excellent. Right, what am I going to do then? I don't think anyone's actually going to join me to make a Softpot along with me, so I'm free agent. What I can do is, actually let's do it with a slightly different thing. These are, when it comes to mushrooms, I don't always find it. Let me just have a look. Let me try with maybe some blonde ones. Have I got any blonde ones? Oh, yeah. Let's have a go with some blonde types. By the way, when it comes to making Softpots, if you want everything to shine and be beautiful and shine through, you need the sheerest, shiniest, glossiest stockings you can get your hands on, or tights. I tend to go to Primark for mine, but for years and years I've been banging on saying, oh yes, you want to get glossy tights. Well, actually, they've changed glossy. They don't feel the same. So I've gone for sheen these days. That seems to be what glossy used to be. And the glossy just, I don't know, just don't feel quite as nice. So, I've got blonde, this blonde. Right, here we go. When it comes to making a soft pot, it all starts off the same way, pretty much. I mean, the wonderful thing about soft pots is that, well, it's quite quick to actually make one. As often as not, what takes the time is the decoration. And, oh gosh, as I said, there's loads and loads of things you can do to decorate. Now, if I'm going to make a mushroom, I don't want the narrow end of the foot, this foot bit. I'll just tie a knot a little bit higher up, and then that way I'll get a fatter bottom. Unless you actually know the advanced methods, this is the easiest way to get a wider base. And then it doesn't matter whether I'm making a sculpture, I'm painting it, decorating it, leaving it plain. Whatever I do, I always need the right thing on the inside. Now, the first thing I always put in is some gravel. And that gives the soft pot a bit of gravitas. Where's that ring? There we are. And that's just a ring, comes with a kit. I've dropped the stocking through and I've just hooked it over the edge there. Now I'm going to put in quite a lot of gravel because I don't want it blowing over. Yeah, and generally it's always washed gravel. You want to try and avoid sand in your soft pot, because sand is the one thing that just goes all the way through and it just keeps on coming. It's horrible. So yeah, avoid John Innes, anything like that. I tend to rely on feeding my plants rather than giving them a John Innes compost, because it also makes it incredibly heavy. John Innes is full of sand and it does make a very, very heavy soft pot. So I tend to avoid that because I'm a bit careful about what I have to lift. Because if you have to lift a lot of plants, it actually makes a big difference if they're not too heavy. And soft pots themselves are actually very, very light. That's why I'm putting in the gravel. Normally it just gives them a bit of gravitas, because otherwise they're just so light. Right, what else have I got here? Now, I've got a bucket of compost. Now, I happen to know that that's 3 of these scoops of regular compost in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Softpot Gold. This is it. I'm always banging on about it, I know. But it's right, it's right. Now, Softpot Gold is a natural mineral. It comes from volcanoes and they blow it up like popcorn. And what it does is it stops the compaction that would happen naturally if you just put compost or just straight earth into a leg of stocking. It just doesn't work. You need something to stop that compaction. But this is just the best stuff ever, because it absorbs the nutrients in the water. And while it's stopping that compaction, it absorbs these nutrients and releases them slowly, a bit like porridge, I suppose. And it keeps the plants much, much happier. Now, gladly, I'm very pleased with this. People say, well, couldn't I use perlite? I would say no. Perlite's too white, too regular, and it doesn't look. It just doesn't look right in a naked soft pot. This looks absolutely beautiful in a naked soft pot. And also, once you start watering, all that perlitey stuff comes to the surface, and it looks like the aftermath of a festival, and that compaction's happening underneath. I mean, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're desperate to make a soft pot, use gravel. It won't behave like a proper soft pot, but it will stop that compaction happening. You just mix in the gravel with it instead. But my advice is to get some Softpot Gold. Yes, this is the stuff. It's just beautiful, and it goes a long way. For every 3 scoops of compost, I put 1 of this. That's a standard mix. And in there, I know I've got 6 scoops of compost. So I'm going to put 2 of these in. There we go. And then mix it up. And when it's mixed up, you see, it looks beautiful. I don't know whether it will look as beautiful. Well, actually, it will look as beautiful in a blonde stocking. But it looks like a scrummy sort of cake mix. Can you see? Yeah. And you know, yes, actually, climate, talking about, oh, hello, hello, Gretel, oh, lovely, thank you for joining me, love. Yeah, right, what I was going to do, just going to fill this up. Now, it's much, much easier to fill your stocking when you just let gravity do the work for you. Now, don't want it all, wait a moment. Yeah, you don't want it all screwed up. That would just not work. That's better. And then I'm just going to dangle it over the top. Where's that? I wonder if that's better. I don't know whether you can't really see it, but there we go. I'm just going to dangle it over the top of my bucket and then let gravity do the work. And just drop it in from the top. Da, da, da. I think this might be a small leg of stocking, you know. I've just got a feeling. I mean, ideally, if you want to make a mushroom, in theory, it should be a large leg of stocking. But I have started, so I must continue. Let's see what happens. I'm doing the bounce. Do-do-do-do. Bouncing it. Now, the bounce brings out your inner child. And what it's doing, it's actually just all the compost is dropping to the bottom there in a nice loose pile. Now, one of the things that you need to be a little bit aware of is that if you're bouncing it, don't bounce it on stone or a really hard surface. Just, you know, lino seems to be okay, but not stones. Right, let's have a look. Nowhere near enough yet. Let's keep on going, keep on going. Sometimes, you know, I think, oh yes, I'm going to make a mushroom or whatever, and it finishes up being something completely different. And the wonderful thing is you just go with it. Don't stay fixed on something that you have an idea of, because as often as not, you know, what you finish up with, if you just keep on bodging till you get there, is something far more wonderful than anything you would ever have thought. Right, I'm just going to fill this up a bit more. Da, 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 da. This is a narrow, this is a small leg of stocking. What a nuisance. Let's see if I can just fill that a bit quickly. I mean, different things take different amounts of time. I probably should have practiced, I admit. I haven't made a mushroom in absolutely ages, so I thought, let's have a go. I tend to make most of my mushrooms in about Halloween time. I mean, mushrooms are just mushrooming, aren't they? But mushrooms are always good. Either way, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at what we've got. Right, I'm just squashing that a little bit, giving myself a little bit of mushroom shape. I mean, there's lots of different ways of making mushrooms, actually, depending. If you're doing it with a plant, it's one way. If you're doing it without a plant, or you're putting seeds in the bottom, grass seeds, which works really, really well, because all the grass comes up, and it comes up around the base. And so wherever you put your mushroom or your stone, it's got its own little grass patch. I don't think I've got any grass up here with me. Grass seeds? No, it hasn't really quite got to that time of year yet. Maybe I'm a little bit advanced. But there we are. I've got a sort of my basic mushroom shape. And then I'm making a hole. I'm giving it a squidge as much as I can. Get rid of any lumps. And then, now, what plant have I got? This is a little saxifrage. Oh, hello, Anne-Marie. I've already brought them on camera. I thought I'd have a go at doing a mushroom. Who knows what it's going to be like. But you still have your mushroom going strong with geranium. And that you've had that over a decade. Goodness me. Goodness me. That's incredible. I remember that. Could you send me a photograph of it? You know, you can repaint it if it's looking a bit tired or anything. You know, just I go over it with stone paint, and because it's got a bit of flex in it, and then just go on with just regular acrylics. Yeah. Got a little saxifrage. Ooh, now, Anne-Marie Meader. Bring them on camera. Let's have a go. Add. I'm going to see what happens here. I think maybe it sent you a request. You might just pop on. Let's have a look. I mean, all this technology is incredible, isn't it? Right, I'm going to get on with this for a moment. And if you pop up, have I got... Now, add. Bring Anne-Marie on, add. I've sent you an... Oh, it says it can't bring you on camera. If you're doing it on your mobile, if you turn it to your mobile to portrait, I think it will work. Apparently it's just something that somebody told me. But if you've got it landscape, it won't work. Alright, see how it goes. Get on with this. This is a different little plant. It's coming to that time of year. All the little spring plants coming in. Ah, lovely, lovely, lovely. Come to me. Come to me. Now, the size of your soft pot generally depends on the size of the base of the plant's already in. Now, I think I'm going to be pushing it a little bit. Let's have a go. Let's have a go. I'm going to take this stocking and take it down. I'm going to stretch it. Going to pop this in the top. Stand it just on the top there. And then, just like an ordinary soft pot, bring it up, bring up the compost. And then I'm just going to wiggle it down a little bit. Just wiggle it down. Because I want it to sit nice and comfy in there. There we are. I mean, soft pots, I mean, as much as we can paint them and do all these different things with them, as I said, you know, overall, they're much, much kinder to plants. So, you can make lots and lots of soft pots, knowing that you're liberating your fellow plant spirits. Here we go. And it's, you know, it's a liberation for yourself as well. I mean, soft pots are very, very therapeutic. Now I'm going to take a tie, going to cut it, going to pop it round that neck. And just when it gets to the point where I can feel the plant, and you can feel it almost through the stocking. Just when it gets to that point, I'm just going to tie a knot. And there we go. Now, this base bit here, that would actually help, I reckon, if we had a bit of heavy duty type. This is where heavy duty types come in really handy. Give it a stretch. This is just a bit of blue type. But that will give it more turgidity, so to speak. There we are. And then this top bit here, you sort of decorate it just like you would a normal sort of soft pot, really. As usual, stay away from natural materials. Natural materials rot when they're in between the layers, so don't do it. Just stick to synthetic materials, and then the world is your oyster. Now, let's have a little bit of... now this is organza. I tend to use organza a lot as a petticoat. When I tend to think of making soft pots, I tend to think of them as I'm dressing a fairy going to the ball, and the first thing a fairy dress needs is a petticoat. Now, I've just ripped that halfway down, going to wrap it round. I'm going to use that tie that I made just to hook that material underneath. There we are. Da-da-da-da. And then, just going to chop off anything that's excess. Now, all these little bits you can keep, you know, because you can add them to other things. It's worth having a bits box. I have a bits box, and it's just full of all sorts of little bits of material, textures, just interesting things that I could use perhaps in soft pots. So yeah, you want to get a bits box. This is my bits box. There we are. Ha ha ha. Right, now I can, actually I'm not going to use that right now. Let me just pop those back. Now, colour glass is the only exception to the rule. I can't use any other natural material, but this is fantastic. It comes from the, I think it's a byproduct of the carpet industry, but you see all those colours there? That's what makes you able to make a soft pot to match anybody's decor, anybody's eye colour. It's just a wonderful way to make a bespoke present that just reflects, you know, all the colours of your friends, all the favourite colours that your friend likes. And this stuff, you can fluff it up light as a cloud. You don't need very much at all. And it acts as a grip for everything else that you're going to chuck on the soft pot. And this is one of the reasons why you don't need pins or anything sharp and pointy when you make a soft pot. Perfect for children. Perfect for children. And, right, what I'm going to do... Oh, this is a mushroom, isn't it? So, I'm just going to pop this round there, like that. I'm not going to do anything too outrageous. But you can get it out as outrageous as you like with a soft pot. And it all looks like chaos. I think the ladies of the Women's Institute the other night were absolutely horrified when they saw what I was doing. I think they completely forgot there was even a plant in there. And then, it all looks like random chaos, and it is. But the second you bring the top down, suddenly it's all order and beautiful and art. And I'm not a creative. Anybody can do this. Anybody. And probably a lot of people probably do it better than I do. I invented it. But that doesn't mean to say I'm the best soft pot maker. And actually, to be honest, I mean, a lot of the time it's better not to judge, because one person's soft pot is completely different from another person's soft pot, but they're all beautiful. And as long as they're made right on the inside, they're a bit like people. As long as you've got the mix right in the inside with soft pot gold, yes, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. Whatever you do on the outside is entirely a matter of personal taste. Right, what have I got there? Got that. Now, I could add... Ooh, that looks a bit pink, doesn't it? Actually, no, I'm not going to add that. I'm making a mushroom. I'm going to stick. I'm going to be purist. Oh, I tell you what is wonderful, actually. Talking about soft pot gold. Dribbling a little bit of soft pot gold on the top there gives you the perfect Amanita mascara little lumps and bumps that you get. The one that Gretel's got, I painted that. It took me months and months of painting to get that right. But this is a really, really effective way of getting a really good looking Amanita without, without having to paint. Now, the base. Ooh, let's have a look. What bit of that? Maybe let's just put wrap a little bit of this around here, just to hold it there. Now, where's that tie? Again, I'm just tying. Just tucking it in there, under there, just to hold it tight for when I bring the top down. Right, I think that's about it. Let's have a look. Oh, let's put some glitter on. Got to have some sequins, haven't you? Ooh, what about those? The lovely thing about sequins is you can be really, really abundant with them, and they fall down between the layers, but they don't get lost. And eventually, because the colour grass is natural, it fades back. So all of this that might have got hidden underneath all comes through. I mean, the other thing I could do, of course, I could add, let's have a look at that. That makes a bit of interest. I just tuck a few bits in there underneath, just to give. This is sort of some netting-y sort of stuff. You want anything with holes, textures, absolutely wonderful. Right. Ooh, I hope this is going to fit. Let's have a look. It could be a tight one. Da 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 da. Over the top, over the top. Bring it down. Going to push all of that back up. Turn it over, bring this down. Now, with this, it's going to be a bit hard to do the twizzle. I'm going to pull it down as hard as I can and then just tie a knot. But I don't really want it to be super tight. I mean, Softpots is all about tension, having the right tension. And sometimes, as in this sort of thing, when you're making a mushroom, you actually need a bit more room to play. So by not doing the twizzle, it gives you the opportunity to mess about more. Now, got my little plant in there. Got that. Going to get another tie. Pull all that up. I mean, one of the nice things is that even when you brought the top down, you can still shove things around, even from the outside. I mean, Softpots are so flexible and amenable. If only the rest of the world was that way. I mean, someone said to me the other day, you know, oh, you're an old hippie. And I thought, you know, what's wrong with being an old hippie? What's wrong with love, peace and understanding? I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what political persuasion you may be. You know, I think generally everybody agrees that, you know, a bit of love, peace and understanding helps the world go round. And, you know, all those people who were hippies, who were busy sleepwalking in their lives, you're all there in positions of power. And I would say, wake up. We need more love, peace and understanding. Let's bring back some of those good old hippie values, please. I don't know. I mean, as I said, you know, at one point I got so angry about everything, I became my own political party. I became the Pink Party. Not for long, I have to admit. And sadly, I beat the Greens and only came out 2 weeks beforehand. So, actually, the best way to change the world is to change yourself. And sometimes the best thing to do to change yourself is to nurture yourself from the inside. All I can say is, in this fragile world, I make a soft pot. That is my antidote to the world and all its problems. If everybody made soft pots, we'd all be much, much happier and much nicer people, I think. But that's my opinion. Now, there we go. Made a little mushroom. Hippies forever. Yes, Nasha. Yes, Nasha. Ho. Yay for old hippies, yes! And that's it. I mean, they're the people who are in power now, you know, and they've just gone to sleep. We just need to wake them up. Hey, there we go. One happy little mushroom. I mean, I have to admit, I'll twiddle and fiddle with it quite a bit probably. But as a quick go, this is a lovely thing to do. And if you get your grass seeds and put them in at the bottom, round there, not around the side, but just around the bottom, they can be quite slow to start, but then when they do grow, as I said, the grass grows up around here. And then wherever you put your mushroom, it's got its own grass patch. Right, well, I'm just going to go plunge this in a bucket, wait till all the bubbles stop rising, and then I'm going to take it out and stick it outside. And I'll probably bring it in next week or something, have a look, see what's going on. I might keep, I mean, it's okay. I think I've got a feeling that I'm going to want to do something else. So we'll see what happens next week, what's happened to this next week. Anyway, so I think that's it, isn't it? Again, for another week, it's gone. I can't believe time is going so quickly. And as I said, I mean, the equinox is here, coming up, and then it's an alarm bell. All those winter projects that I've been working on and completely overwhelmed by at the moment, they're going to have to get put aside because the growing season's starting. And yes, Softpots help you grow in your own heart. Softpots help you share the love. And yes, hopefully I'll see you next week. Until then, I wish you all joy and ease, and thank you. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Did you get the request I wanted to show you my bonsai? No, I didn't. Send it to me on Messenger. Send it to me on Messenger and I'll respond. Okay. Bye for now. Joy and ease, love and peace, and understanding.